There we go. All right. Welcome aboard, everyone, to the second episode of Monte's Mountainview, the podcast where we hang out, talk about video games, take it easy, and just enjoy why we're even fans of these things that we're into to begin with. So for episode 2 today, I bring us the one and only Zach, Honest Content. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the Mountainview.
What's up? What's up?
Nice to have you here. It's pretty exciting. We have some cool stuff that we're going to be doing a little later in the stream, but to start things off and to keep things simple, I thought, what better way to, get people eased into this than talk about how the heck we even got into Smash Bros. To begin with. Like, what keeps us here, basically? Why do we keep coming back? Why Smash Bros? Because everyone's got an origin story. I'm here for a reason. You're into it for a reason. We all are.
Yep.
So yeah, what is the Zach origin story? Like, how did you get into Smash Bros. At the beginning?
I think it was even one of the first games I ever played was Melee.
Oh.
And I think that was like one of my first memories was like playing Melee. I really liked it. I really liked a few games like Melee, Mario Kart, Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I got really sucked into Melee because I didn't beat it for like years. I didn't have a full roster for fucking years, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it took you to unlock every character in Melee. It took me like I didn't even have the internet, so I didn't even know certain characters were in the game. Like there was at least 4 or 5 characters I never unlocked, and that always bothered me because I knew there was at least one because there was like a question mark. It was Game & Watch was one of them, but
Yeah.
there was a question mark on the middle of the character select screen. I had like probably up until Roy. I had Ganon, I had Roy, but I didn't have Pichu, Mewtwo. Definitely did not have Game & Watch. Falco I did not have. I didn't know when I saw Falco for the first time, I thought I was playing the mission. You know where the mission where Falco's invisible?
Yep. The event match.
And I was like, who is that making that noise? Like,
You're like, that's not Fox.
And I paused the game frame perfect because he has the invisibility cloak on.
Mm-hmm.
I paused the game frame perfect, and I saw it was like a different character, and I was like, what the fuck? That's not Fox.
Like, wait.
I didn't know who he was. He was blue and like red. I thought he looked cool as hell though. But I think that's partly why I did play Falco for a while because there was probably that level of like mystique, and I thought he was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely did not have him. Definitely did not have Pichu. Because Pichu, you have to like do some of the harder difficulty things. I forgot how to get Pichu, but
Yeah.
I know it's like one of the harder difficulty things. You have to like beat all the missions. I'm pretty sure or something.
Yeah, it's not as
Or
simple as like playing an event match and there he is.
Yeah, and when you're a kid, you don't know what you're doing.
No,
I didn't even know there was a mode where you beat 100. I didn't even know what multi-man melee was. There's no fucking way I was unlocking Falco. Like I wasn't. I wasn't leaving my GameCube on to get Mewtwo. I didn't even know he was in the game. But when I learned Mewtwo was in the game, that was cool because I freaked out because I was like, I went to the dentist office and I saw they had melee. And I went there, and I was a kid, and I went there. I was like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And
this game, it's
saw Mewtwo. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who Game & Watch was, but I saw the full. Saw Pichu. I saw Falco. Like I saw them briefly, but I had to leave, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, I don't have those characters." And then I was like, it always was like mysterious. And then I finally get the internet, and I figure out. There's like 5 characters. That was like basically me getting DLC for Melee.
Yeah.
When I found out that Falco was like actually obtainable, Pichu, Game & Watch. Mewtwo was fun. Mewtwo became one of my favorites too because of that level. Leaving the game for 20 hours.
Yeah, I was so bummed when he didn't come back and just like.
Yeah, I was mad about that too.
Yeah, like why cut him? Like I always felt Lucario and him had enough.
Mario definitely replaced him.
Yeah, but I thought they played it differently enough where it could have warranted both.
Replacing Roy.
Yeah.
But he had red fire. I did a short on that. That made no fucking sense.
Yeah,
To this day,
because even at that point, he had the blue flame, so it was just very odd that Smash was over here like, red. Red is fire. And it was even weirder yet because they already had like the blue flame graphics for like Lucario, for like this, you know, the aura stuff. They could have easily passed it off as like blue flames or something. I don't know. Just one of those bizarre, this was a very intended thing, because even Smash 4 was,
EM did it.
Yeah.
It just changed the fucking color.
Yeah.
And in Smash 4, in the early Smash 4 updates, how you know they started with the ball. Like, with every Smash game, they start with a previous Smash game and they build off of it. And there was pre-release screenshots of Ike with a red fire on his sword in Smash 4. So they
knew what they were doing. They were just like, we like red for some reason.
It made no sense. Like, if you know the lore of the character, if you ever play the games, he's not ever associated with red fire ever.
So it's like, Sakurai, what were you doing? Or whoever the guy was in charge of your GFX, what were you doing?
I don't know. It's a clear oversight, in my opinion. If you like know at least like 10% of the lore, you know that like Ike has blue flames. He's literally called the Lord of the Blue Flame.
Yeah, so it's like someone.
He does in like cutscenes in Radiant Dawn or whatever. I think he like has blue flame.
Yeah, you actually see blue fire.
It's so
like,
obvious.
Like, this isn't like one of those things where it's like deep lore, ooh, you might have missed it because it was kind of buried toward like the end of the game or something. It's there front and center. There's no secret. It's not like unlocking Mewtwo after leaving your GameCube running for hours.
Yeah, so so I became a huge fan of Smash because of that. So I basically just kind of always was kind of like playing it. Like I really liked it. It became one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
I was in preschool. I used to like. I remember we would do like drawing days, and I see this as like. It was like early versions of me creating content. It was like me writing like about playing Smash and like, oh, I want this character in Smash. That's like the bone of creating fucking content right there. But I was doing that as like a kid in kindergarten or whatever.
It was
drawing. Like, oh, it'd be cool if Toad was in the game.
Yeah, it was the humble beginnings, and when Smash showed those possibilities, I mean, that's when the imagination really took off, and I totally get that, because my first game wasn't Melee. I got to actually play 64 when it released, way back in good old 1999. And by that point, I'd already played Mario 64, I'd already played Star Fox, I was aware of what Pokemon was, so I knew what these characters were from their games. But then here was this strange game that I was looking at one day as a kid, and it's like, it's got Mario and Pikachu, and I don't know who this is, but they're all in the box. What is this? And, you know, here I am bringing it home and playing it and going, I've never seen this before, because up to that point, you never had a game that would take all these characters and put them into one game. Because if you're playing anything with Mario, it was a Mario game. If you were playing Star Fox, it was Star Fox. But here was this one game that was like, nope, they're all here. They're all playable. You can play Fox. You can be Pikachu. You can play whoever. And I remember just being like super absorbed into that, because the idea of like all these characters in a single game was like unknown territory as a kid. Like, you didn't think it was possible because all the games you played didn't do that. But here's one that did. So then sky was the limit at that point. And then when you start unlocking characters and realize, oh, there's more stuff. Like, Smash 64 made it very clear at the beginning there was only 4 characters to unlock because of the little silhouettes in the intro. So I remember playing all that, unlocking the characters, and being all excited that, you know, whenever my friends were over, it's like, look, I unlocked this character. And they'd say things like, well, isn't so-and-so in the game? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. Or or stuff like, didn't you unlock this character? And I'd be like, nah, these are the only 4 you can unlock. You see, they're in the intro. And stuff like that. But Melee, though, as much as I love 64, Melee was the true pinnacle. I didn't have it for a minute when the GameCube first came out. But I got to go over to a friend's house at the time who had a GameCube, and his parents got him Melee. And he's showing me this game, and I'm just like wide-eyed staring at it like, this can't be real. My Smash Bros. Looks nothing like this one. This one looks like a movie by comparison. And you have Bowser? Mine doesn't have Bowser. What is this magic? And then being like super jealous at that point, wanting to go over to his house more just to play Melee. And then finally we got a GameCube for one of our birthdays, and then we had Melee, and then that was it. But I grew up with a couple of siblings, and a lot of our friends would hang out. So we actually did get Mewtwo kind of early, because there were those times where we would leave the GameCube on when we were playing and go have dinner or go do homework or something and then come back to it. So I remember like finishing one of our matches and all of a sudden being like, is that Mewtwo? What's Mewtwo doing in this game? And it was just one of the coolest things ever. And then of course seeing Mr. Game & Watch going, what the heck is this thing? Like, I don't know what a Game & Watch is. But I remember being happy just because I had a game that actually lets you play Bowser outside of like sports games, because you only played Bowser back then if you were playing Mario Tennis or golf. I think that was the only time you could play Bowser, and you certainly were not playing Ganondorf in anything except Smash Bros. Smash Bros was the only game that you could actually play Ganon, and that was just the coolest thing as a kid, is being able to play like the bad guys that you fought in those big final battles that were just the most important thing in your life as a kid, getting to the end of the game and fighting the final boss and being so stressed out if you were going to win or not. So there was something very special about that. So those were definitely the reasons why I got hooked in Smash as a kid, was just, you can play all these characters in one game, and you can play bad guys too. Normal games didn't let you play the bad guys. Except for nowadays. Nowadays it's different, but back then it was a new concept. Very unknown territory.
Did you see, did you have the internet at the time? Did you, like, go on the forums and see, like, fake, like Sonic and Melee? Like,
yes. Funny you should say that, because back then, not only was I was looking up Pokemon glitches, because I used to do, like, Gen 1 glitch hunting as a hobby. And I would check out some of the Smash Bros. Forums, too, or sometimes the Smash Bros. Forums were tied to the Pokemon ones that I was checking out. And I remember seeing, like, the little, like, really, like, we're talking like 50 by 50 blown up images that Google could pull up back then, and it'd just be this really low quality, like, here's a Sonic, and being like, Sonic's in this game? Or seeing like the one of like a Toad. I remember seeing the Toad one, and because Melee didn't make it clear how many characters you could unlock.
I actually believed it I was a child though.
Yeah.
There's no way I was actually going to
I did too.
Play that myself.
I was a victim of the playground rumors. Earliest one that I can recall was like Mario Kart 64, and people saying you could unlock like Magic Koopa and some other characters in it. And always being jealous because mine didn't have that. I'd always keep asking, hey, can I go over to your house to see Magic Koopa and Mario Kart? And they'd always come up with some excuse why they couldn't, because they didn't have it. It was just, they were just trying to be cool at the playground. So Melee rumors definitely got me too at that point, because I didn't know how many characters were in Melee. It could have been double the roster for all I know. And the fact that some characters popped up under like the most out of left field circumstances, like Mewtwo just playing like so many versus matches or letting like versus go for so many hours, like most people wouldn't find that normally. So, you know, if that could happen, who knows what other characters are unlockable at that point. So I totally fell for it. At least until I did finally get more proper my own internet access, because a lot of times it was either borrowing my parents for a little bit, and we couldn't do too much on there, or using the stuff at school whenever the school's content blockers didn't always censor everything, and you could get into some game forums at that point. Yeah, my computer lab had one. It made it really hard to go to like any of the Action Replay or Game Shark sites to get codes and stuff like that. Had to scrounge back then.
Yeah, I didn't play Smash 64 first. I didn't even know that was a thing until much later. I didn't. I think someone told me at GameStop that it existed, and I was still a child, and I did eventually get it. It was pretty hard to get, and it was like in that bargain bin, like the N64, like the N64 kind of game used stuff, whatever bin that does exist anymore.
Yeah.
It was in there, and then I got it, and then it was really hard. It was like harder than Melee. Like for whatever reason, the single player mode was like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid. I didn't really like 64. I probably would never play that game competitively. It's fine. It's a fine game, looking back, but it's going backwards was not really like, it felt like a step down.
It's always jarring. It's the same thing whenever you tell like a Tekken player to go back and play like Tekken 1 or 2 after they got used to playing the new ones, like 7 or 8, and they're just like, I can't do this. I can barely do it as someone who grew up with those games.
So it's an alright game. I see it as like just kind of the building block of what Melee is going to become.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the same are there.
Yeah. Melee is still the staple because pretty much all the fundamentals are still there since back then. It's just obviously the main core gameplay itself has been tweaked in a way that's more casual. But being able to like do side specials and chargeable smash attacks and all that's a staple. Once Melee refined that mechanic, added those features, all the other Smashes had no reason to ever take it away. Whereas it is actually weird to go back to 64 and go, oh, I can't throw up or down. I can't charge my smash attacks. I don't have a side special. I can't air dodge. And that's all things that have been a staple since Melee moving forward, which it's why it's not so bad to actually go back and play the others, because even if you don't like how the engine feels, at least the things are there, so when your muscle memory kicks in, you're air dodging or charging your smash attacks or whatever. You can't do that in 64. You gotta rewrite your brain and go, nope, those aren't a thing in this game. Can't do that.
Yeah.
I do go back.
That's why.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was saying I do sometimes go back and play just for the nostalgic aspect, but other than that, being a kid growing up with the game and being in that state of mind back then when you're just playing because it's a party game, yeah, it worked perfectly fine back then. But I couldn't do it competitively, and if we're doing like party stuff, why go back other than the nostalgia, because all the other Smash games do the party thing way better by comparison. Way more items to mess around with, way more characters to goof off with, way more stages. So it's just kind of limiting by comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I played 6-4, I didn't really it was okay, but I didn't really play it that deeply. I definitely like beat it or whatever, but that was it.
Yeah.
But Brawl was the lead up for Brawl was pretty insane. That's when I started getting like more into the Smash hype train culture. Mm-hmm. Like that was that's like fun every single time.
Yeah.
When that time period comes of when a new game is coming and everyone's speculating who's gonna be in the game. That the first time was Brawl. I got like the tail end of that. I wanted to buy a Japanese Wii, or at least like I begged my fucking dad to buy one off eBay for my birthday or something, because it was coming out in Japan first. Back when back in the day, they didn't release on the same day. Like it was like months. It was like it came out in January in Japan, and then it like came out everywhere else in March. And as a kid, I was like, "That's fucking forever." And I was like, I was willing to like beg my dad. It didn't happen, but it didn't really matter at the end of the day. But that's how much I wanted the game. I saved up like quarters, like change, for $50, like as a whatever. I just found like I scrounged up like quarters a year before it even came out. I just found enough change to make $50, and then once I got that, I was like, all right, that's my Brawl investment.
Yeah, you knew exactly what you were doing with that money. There was no second guessing. You're like, I want this game.
Yeah, I wanted it really bad. I was I would like look on the forums of like the characters that were in the game. I looked at the cutscenes. When the cutscenes leaked, that was big.
Yeah.
The subspace. That's how you knew who was in the game and who wasn't, and especially the tail end when like Wolf and like Jigglypuff and Toon Link were like kind of figured out. Because I think like I remember when they were leaking in like real time when like people were like playing the game and like, oh, Luigi's in the game, and I was just like, fuck, Luigi's back. I didn't fucking know. That was really dumb. I thought Luigi would get cut, but. You know, they didn't show all the characters. They like waited a long time to like show a lot of the characters that were coming back. So when Subspace leaked, it was like, oh, you know, Ness is here. Oh, you know, like da da da, like all that shit. I was like, damn, this is. I believe some of the fake ones. Some people made like fake ones that Mewtwo was back, and that ended up not being. I think that was pretty well known.
I think I saw a Dr. Mario one at one point, and of course back then, it was really early, but I remember seeing people doing like very like shoddy Photoshop stuff, trying to be like, oh, Gino's in this game and stuff like that. Even though back,
yeah, I might have leaves like for a second, but they looked really fucking bad. But I wanted Gino because of that like kind of era of the hype behind him. No, really, they're like it made no fucking sense, but whatever. Looking back is like, why would he be in that game? Of like Smash games? Like they just put in Snake and Sonic. No one was thinking they were gonna put more third-party characters in there.
Unless that's kind of what triggered it at that point for a lot of people, because up to that point, Smash Bros was just celebrating all of their own Nintendo IPs and running with it, and then here's Brawl kicking down the door and saying, "Oh, here's a Snake, here's a Sonic." Now it's not just about Nintendo characters. Now it's about any video game character.
I didn't know who Snake was.
That
was when I saw that trailer, I thought it was fake.
I didn't know who he was. I recognized him because, you know, you go to like game stores and stuff, you see him plastered on like promo box arts and
I thought
like,
he was Splinter Cell. Like I thought he was the guy from Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, I think that was like.
But I didn't even know. Like he looked so out of place in the moment. Like I thought he was like I was like that's some shit you would see on a forum, like a very elaborate fake.
True.
But no, that was real. Snake was in the game.
Yeah, because the most realistic characters in the Smash roster at that point were pretty much like the human characters, Snake. And even then,
no one was on the level of Snake.
No, because the closest to me would have been, if anything, would have been like Samus, honestly. Because even F-Zero, with how it presents itself, is way more goofy and lighthearted compared to the more like grounded, like intense and darker themes of Metroid by comparison.
If you just look at him compared to like the characters they were showing, which was, you know, Mario, Link, Kirby, Pikachu, like he looked way out of place.
Yeah, because he was just a normal dude, basically.
That's why like the whole cutscene thing, that was like they never done that for a character before as well. So that I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, they made it more of a spectacle. Like, sure, Melee's opening was a spectacle.
I saw the cutscene on B4 randomly.
Yeah,
I just was walking past my TV and I like triple take.
Like, wait, what is what's that doing in
really
Smash?
Cool fake. That's a really cool fake. And then, but no, I was like kind of geeking that an actual Smash game was being in development.
Yeah,
I was kind of. Like, I remember as a kid, I was, like, daydreaming that a sequel would happen. And I was like, man, it would be fucking cool if there was a sequel to Melee. And
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Eventually, obviously. But...
And I do agree with that hype aspect, because at that point, Melee only came out, like a couple years after Smash 64 did. And then after that, there was just this long, like, 5-year period. Like, I was 9 when Melee came out. So here I am, like, 5 years later, 14. So that's around the time they started mentioning that there was something new on the horizon, that something was going to happen with Smash again. So, you know, here I am going from, like, elementary school to, like, junior high and being like, oh, they're bringing Smash Bros. Back? I was not expecting that, because it just seemed like it was kind of, you know, GameCube brought it. It did amazing. That's all there is to it. Moving on. Never again. And then here's the Wii. Back then, when they were still calling it the Revolution, and they were saying things like, "Oh, we're bringing Smash Bros. Back for our new console." I'm like, "Oh, all right, this is gonna be a new thing every console, I guess. That's cool." Because the GameCube was around for a minute. I keep forgetting the GameCube actually was like a good 6-7 years roughly before they completely stopped supporting it. So, yeah, it didn't seem like the sort of thing that was actually gonna happen until the announcement happened, and you started seeing like the videos, and even then at the time you're like, wait, this can't be real. This feels like they're treating it bigger than Melee, so maybe it's just something else. But nope, it was Smash. They put a Snake in Smash, and then later they confirmed, hey, there's a Sonic in here too.
Yeah, I remember. I saw, I think, Sonic on YouTube.
Early
YouTube. As a kid, I was pretty excited, but
oh yeah.
Now I'm just. Now, when I see a third-party character, it doesn't shock me nearly as much as it did back then.
No, because back then that was the glass ceiling shattering. At this point, The only way we're ever going to have that same sort of glass ceiling equivalent would be if the next Smash game, Sakurai or whoever is in charge of Smash says, oh, we're bringing in fourth-party characters. It's not just about video game characters anymore.
If you Spider-Man, like if we get to that level, that's how you do that. But like, I feel like Ultimate pretty much did that with Sora and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two very fucking out there picks. But that's beside me.
True. The only saving grace they will always have is even if you're out, like, I never expected this, they have that shielding of being like they're a video game character. So if nothing else, they are still falling under that celebration of video game character umbrella that Smash Bros. Is still toting at this point. Unless they someday say it's just a celebration of whatever we want to celebrate, basically. We got people in here that are fans of, like, I don't know, the what's that mascot, the otter mascot that keeps popping up on social media, the Cheetan one that's always doing these crazy stunts. If someone's a fan of that, we just put that character in the game for whatever the reason. I don't know. Or Spider-Man or Goku or... throw Inuyasha in there or something. I don't care. Someone on the dev team is a fan of that classic series and they just want their favorite, like, anime sword boy running around. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. That being said, though, yeah, when Brawl happened, that was definitely a big deal. I think, casually, Brawl was actually the game that me and my friends put the most time into. We had a lot of, like, after-school hangouts and birthday parties of just gathering around the TV, turning all the items on, Final Smash when they introduced that too, and just going to town. I think I actually still have some very old clips somewhere in one of my old flash drives of, like, one of the days after school we went bike riding, came back to my parents' place, and we're like, alright, let's play some Brawl. And then you got, like, a clip of, like, my brother getting, like, Giga Bowser and just, like, destroying everyone else, rampaging on Castle Siege, too. I remember the map. So, yeah, Brawl is definitely the most special out of all of them to me for many different reasons, which we're going to get into pretty quick. But coincidentally, when you mentioned the dates earlier, like, I actually share a birthday with the Japanese release date of Brawl. And it was January 31st. And then the US, March 9th, is my sister's birthday. So, Brawl came out on both of our birthdays. It's just kind of one of those funny things where it's like, yeah, this game really is extra special. But for the other reason, though, because, you know, we were content as kids for the longest time, seeing what the games were doing, and then speculating.
Are you talking about modding now?
Yeah, we're gonna dive into that a little bit, because that's the other half. That's this other side of the Smash Bros. Coin. Because you have a franchise that introduces the big what if of having these characters in the game. Of course, the fans are going to go crazy with that idea and start not just make-believing it, but making it a real thing. So, like we were saying earlier, Brawl took some characters out. We didn't get Mewtwo back. We lost Roy. And we actually lost a few other characters, but they felt not as consequential as those two, because those two felt like, you know, kind of their own thing by comparison. So Brawl ditched them, and not only did they ditch those characters, but they also ditched the more fighting game energy that Melee had, took away the more competitive edge, and made Brawl way more casual by comparison. So a group of people decided, hey, we want to make Brawl feel a little bit more like the game that we actually liked playing. So they made Project M, and then they were like, not just that, let's also bring back some cut characters. That's how I got into Smash modding at that point. I remember seeing something for Project M online, and seeing a thing brought up about how, oh, you can actually play Roy and Mewtwo in Project M. We brought him back to Brawl. And we made Brawl more fun to play, like Melee, for anyone that likes how Melee feels by comparison. So I was eating that up. I remember digging up an SD card somewhere from like one of like the cameras that my family had, getting it set up, sticking it in my Wii, and then booting up the Project M launcher through the exploit that you can do hackless by going into the stage builder.
Did you actually know about wave dashing at that point, or did you know about wave dashing before Project M?
I did, because I've done it before, but it was one of those things where because of the people I was playing with and what we were doing at the time, we
did it before. You remember doing a wave dash?
Yeah, because I think it was mostly just button mashing at that point, and then somehow doing the input and seeing my character slide and going, oh, that's kind of a cool trick. But because I was playing with people that weren't playing Smash Bros. Competitively at the time, aside from like, because in Melee, we actually did, whenever we were having like birthday parties, we would do the Melee tournament mode, where it actually had like the little brackets and the music and everything. Like the actual tourney mode that no one ever uses when they do Smash tournaments. We did use that whenever we were doing our own little like, who gets the last slice of pizza, who gets to have like the birthday cake first. And we determined that doing like a Smash Bros. Tournament, basically. But when we played, we still had all the items on, and the people I was playing with still played it casually, so no one was doing like crazy strats. Most of us were just holding our smash attacks when people were trying to get back to stage and doing stuff like that. No one was jumping off stage to do like down airs or forward airs and stuff. It was we play this game for fun, but we're still taking it seriously because, you know, that last slice of Domino's was at stake or something like that. But yeah, I remember doing it.
I didn't know any of those Aztecs until I saw the doc.
Yeah.
I was a doc kid. That's the whole reason why I knew.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was called. I've done the thing, but didn't know that that's the terminology for it because I wasn't actively following competitive Smash at that point in time. I didn't really start checking it out until Smash 4 because that was the point even Nintendo was finally starting to give it some attention proper.
Yeah, it was probably a little before that. Like when the Smash doc came out, like a YouTuber that I liked watching, his name was Shokyo, and he said he recommended his audience to watch it, and that's how I also found out about Project M was through him doing a combo video with like his characters or whatever, and that's how I started playing PM in like 2.6.
Yeah.
I started modding. I feel like Brawl. The time between Brawl and Smash 4 was like fucking forever. I remember I felt like it was a really long time. Like I had to been in the 3rd grade when Brawl came out or something, and then I feel like Smash 4 didn't come out until I was like in high school. So like it was a long time. Nothing was really happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many years it was. What came out 2008?
Yeah, let's see. So Brawl was 2008. Smash 4 was, well, we're 10 years now, so it came out in 2014.
8 technically. So 2013. That's like 5 years. It was a long time.
I'm about to say your gap between Brawl and Smash 4 was about my gap between Melee to Brawl at that point, in terms of like how long it felt and just how much time passed. Because by the time Brawl came out, I was finishing up my high school years. I had a couple years left, and then I graduated the same year Halo Reach came out. So once that game dropped, and we were kind of playing more Xbox stuff at that point, so it was a lot of Halo nights and a lot of Xbox Live when my friends moved away to go off to college. So there wasn't as much Nintendo focus during those years, unless it was like a birthday party, when we would all get back together and hang out. But then I remember seeing the hype for Smash 4 starting to build up with the 3DS and the Wii U, and that was a really big deal because I remember thinking Brawl was kind of like scratching a small itch, and then here's Smash 4 basically like taking its nails and running it across your back, like there you go, that's the good stuff. Because we had, like, Mega Man, and we got, like, Ryu and a bunch of these other characters. They brought back Mewtwo and Roy. Like, there was a period I stopped playing Project M because Smash 4 came in and was like, oh, hey, we're fixing our mistakes. We're putting these characters that we cut back. Even though they did do a kind of an underhanded DLC thing with it a little bit, I wasn't too thrilled with how they did the Mewtwo promo, where it's like, oh, you need to have both games and sign into your Club Nintendo to get early access to Mewtwo.
I did that, yeah, I had that.
Yeah, I did it too.
I
ate that up like candy back then. So,
but to go back to like how I kind of found out about modding was like I remember I saw a video of like some Brawl modding on YouTube, and then I like downloaded them off fucking Kitty Corp.
Oh yeah, good old ancient Brawl Vault.
I was trying to get them to work, and I couldn't get the homebrew channel to work for like forever. I was like trying to, because I was a dumb kid, I didn't understand anything, but I finally one day like got it to work, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my god, yes, I get to use Ganondorf with a fucking sword, and it was like the most jank. Like if you were to play that now, it would be like there would be no interest in it. But like as a kid, like that 10 years ago, that was the coolest shit ever. It was like Ganondorf with the beam sword, like permanently. It wasn't even like the cool stuff that you see now. Like it's literally just the beam sword permanently a part of Ganondorf's moveset. That's it. But it was like it felt it felt like, wow, this is a step forward.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
But say as a
There
kid,
was, like, the craziest mods you could download for stages and like skins and stuff, and that was before you could add characters to Brawl.
yeah,
That became later when Project M figured it out, but yeah, that was how I kind of got into PM was well, I knew about modding, and then when Shokyo mentioned PM, that's when I downloaded it, and then later 3.0 came out, and then they showed off Mewtwo and Roy, and the doc and like that happened at like around the same time, and so that's when I started to figure out what wave dashing and L canceling and dash dancing. That's when I started to like figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
I played a bunch of characters. I played. Well, like when I was a kid, like playing Brawl, I was playing just whoever. I was playing Luigi, Wolf, Falco, like Pikachu, Ness. Yeah, I played whoever. But like when PM came out, that's when I was like, okay, I need to like kind of find a character. And then I don't know why I like gravitated towards Ness really quickly, and I just I figured out what double jump canceling was before, like without a guide. Like I just like figured it out.
Yeah.
And I felt like a fucking genius. And I felt like a fucking badass. Like I didn't even know what it was or what I was doing, but I was doing double jump canceling with Ness, and I was like kind of getting him like pretty easily. And I was like, you know what, this is my character. I really identify with this, and I'm not even like the hugest Earthbound guy. Like I never beat Earthbound. I'm a fraud. But I've beat Moto 3, but not Earthbound. I just haven't had the time. But I just liked what Project M was doing, and even though that like at the time the roster wasn't fully in the game yet, like I thought it was like definitely really fun. And I was like, I liked a lot of the cool ideas like separating Ivysaur and stuff and whatever.
Yeah, fleshing out the Pokemon instead of keeping them as strictly a single character slot.
Yeah, and there was hype behind the PM 3.0 update dropping, because that's when Roy Mewtwo came out, and that was fucking crazy. Because I was like, oh shit, it's out! Hell yeah, download it. Yeah, I remember also as a kid when I saw Mega Man, and that was probably the most hype I've ever been for a character, was when Mega Man was announced.
I mean, he was one of the bigger deals at that point.
Well, yeah, he was the most requested character, and it was like Sakurai like knew. I don't know how he fucking knew. Everybody wanted him and Little Mac, and obviously Little Mac fucking sucks, but those two are like the most wanted characters. I just know I wanted them, and everyone else wanted them. Like, they're winning every poll, like every fan poll. They're at the top. And like the now it's like no brainer that Mega Man would be in a game like that, but like back then, didn't know if Capcom would allow that to stuff. Now it's like, okay, Capcom will allow their characters. They like it. You know,
they're one of the more lenient third-party companies that would probably put a character in at this point. Like
back then, they kind of sucked. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah, they had a bad period.
They almost like were put up for like getting bought out. Like they were fucking stuck in ass.
They were in a worse spot than Konami is at this point.
Yeah, they were doing some really shady practices. So, they still put Mega Man in Smash, and that was hype, because that trailer is probably one of the best trailers of all time. That was when I got on the Smash 4 hype train, and that was probably the coolest part. That was the best hype train in my opinion. Was that one, because the leak culture for that one was pretty insane.
Yeah.
Gamatsu leak and all that shit. I was keeping track of all of that. And like Mewtwo, like we kind of knew like what characters were gonna be in the game at a certain point, because it like leaked. When it leaked, that was like probably one of the biggest leaks ever. Was the fucking roster just getting posted online and the gameplay being put on YouTube.
Yeah.
But like that was peak. Like I just remember like that, like a lot of the things that I lot of the characters that I wanted in Smash were in that game.
Mhm.
Like Shulk, I thought was a cool idea,
Yeah.
but I didn't think it would actually be a possibility. And it happened. Robin, I actually did not expect Robin, but looking back, I really like Robin too. Like a lot of good characters that I like. Rosalina was a cool addition,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then obviously DLC characters.
Yeah, and bringing back
Not
like
competitively, but
yeah,
casually they're fun. Cloud
yeah,
is fun casually.
yeah. It's that,
Bayonetta is cool casually. Look at the
yeah.
trailers of Bayonetta getting announced. Everyone's
Mhm.
happy.
That's the
Until you
thing.
fucking-
And that's the tough thing too, because there is definitely a separation between the casual and competitive aspects of Smash. Like if you were to break down like characters in terms of their functionality, a lot of the ones that a lot of people tend to like usually are the ones that don't do the best. But from just that spectacle aspect that that Smash is actually known for and what it promotes, it's like yeah, seeing these characters actually being in Smash Bros. No matter how good their moveset was, at the end of the day, all that really mattered was they're here. Like getting Mewtwo and Roy back officially was one of the big reasons I stopped playing PM for a minute there, because when I first saw PM and saw that they had Mewtwo and Roy, that's why I was playing PM. They were restoring things that I thought should have been in Smash, and then Smash brought them back, so my brain was, alright, I can go back to regular Smash Bros. Now for a little while. I'm going to play this instead, because it's got those characters, and it's got it's got Mega Man, and it's actually got like all these extra characters that I wasn't expecting to see in a Smash Bros. At this point. Little Mac, I was so excited for Little Mac, just being in the game at the time, because one of my little origin stories is on the GameCube. I played Animal Crossing and actually got the Punch-Out NES game as one of the ones that you could unlock. And I remember spending...
Didn't you cheat like everyone else did?
Yeah, I did. Once I knew there were those that you couldn't get, I got my game... Actually, GameCube, I was using an action replay at that point. So I got that thing up and running and typed in the codes and got Super Mario Bros., Zelda, and Wario's Woods, and all these other games. But yeah, I played a lot of Punch-Out back then too, because it was such a fun game. And just the novelty of actually having original Nintendo games, because I missed out on that. Like, my first console was the Super Nintendo, so I didn't get to play the original Nintendo era stuff at all. Until the GameCube, until Animal Crossing, and they shoved those games in as like a bonus back before they realized, oh hey, we can actually re-release our old games and people will spend money on them.
They're fucking half-ass ports, and they make you pay for them at full price.
That's
Did I say that?
that's my big gripe when it comes to the practices, and I'm even more upset now because it's all Nintendo Online. You're only streaming the games or paying for the permission to use the games until you stop paying for your online service. Then those libraries are gone.
It's like almost promoting emulation at some point, 'cause how bad they bring over those games.
Well,
Like,
especially
seriously.
since it's like, all right, cool, you can play all these games now, but what about the other consoles that aren't getting that love right now? Where's Nintendo GameCube Online or Nintendo Wii Online? Like, where's the others? Because
Now they don't care. There's a new console coming. They're I don't think they're gonna a huge like addition. The Switch is on its like kind of legs.
kind of wonder a little. This is just me speculating a little bit, but I think this new console, if it's like an enhanced version of the Switch in like the same vein of like the Xbox Series X being the better Xbox One, basically, if they're doing that, I could almost see them giving it enough power to be able to handle emulation of their newer console generations that don't work properly. Because if I remember correctly from studies that were being done, like for people that were trying to emulate the Wii, it wasn't working on the Switch very well. The compatibility was pretty much just shot. So because of that, Mario Galaxy and the All-Stars collection is like partial emulation, but there was a lot of code that was actually rebuilt and designed to run on the Switch. They couldn't port it fully because it just was impossible. So they had to actually go back and redesign Galaxy to be able to run somewhat natively on the Switch console. So it's like, alright, maybe this next console will have enough power to do proper newer console emulations, and then they could actually put Nintendo GameCube and Wii and maybe even Wii U online. The only ones I could see them not being able to do is DS, because the whole dual screen stuff kind of complicates things. Also, I see Lyra in the chat.
Oh, what's up, Lyra?
The TAC games, nice.
the next console's like the Switch 2, right? So it's probably gonna just be like
That's
it could be like the next. I think they'll just go with the Switch for a while because the Switch was actually successful. I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I mean, if it ain't
depends on
broke, like they kind of have a special market at this point, being both a console and a handheld. You get the best of both worlds. Why would you let that go? Because you already done it so well at this point.
Yeah, I just hope like if it doesn't do well though, then they're gonna fucking quickly abandon it. But
Which I hope they don't. All the flack I'll give the Switch, I do like being able to play it both on the TV and on the go. It is a very convenient feature. That's also why I love my Steam Deck so much at this point. It's nice.
the Wii could have been.
Yeah. And what it might be, because I remember seeing some documents saying some stuff that supposedly the Switch 2 or whatever it's supposed to be spec-wise is about, at this point, on par with the Steam Deck. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna keep playing on my Steam Deck.
They're never going to like their whole game plan is to make them as cheap as possible. Like the whole pipe dream of like Nintendo actually making powerful consoles is just like not. They've never done that.
It's never been their thing. They'll make it good enough to do what they want to do.
They want it to be cheap.
Yeah.
To create. So they can mass produce it or whatever. But that's just my 2 cents. They've never like. It's shot them in the fucking ass every now and then. You know. Every now and then they'll do like a quirky thing,
True.
And that like quirky decision will like fuck up their business for that console, like making the GameCubes like tiny.
Yeah.
The disc, sticking with cartridges for as long as they did for the N64 when everyone else was moving on to discs.
Yeah, forcing the
And
developers.
they tried to course correct. Yeah, and it did. It just was like that's how they lost Final Fantasy was that.
Yeah.
They lost it for a while, which is funny how like competitive the thing was back in the day. Like now it's like every game is like on every console. There is no like exclusivity unless you're like Nintendo or like Valve.
Nintendo is pretty much the only real stinker at this point. Valve definitely, because it's not like some of that's probably due to age. You're not seeing like Gordon Freeman in anything because
it's not as big as it used to be. Like exclusivity used to be like there would be like a bunch of games that were exclusive. Now it's like Final Fantasy's on everything. Kingdom Hearts is on everything now. You play it like whatever. That would never happen back in the day. Now, like there's a couple exclusive like Sony games, you know, but like that's, you know, how long are they gonna be exclusive? It really depends.
Yeah, because at this point, most stuff, if it's on either, even if it's only on PlayStation or Xbox,
fucking doesn't have shit.
You can play it on PC at this point. So it's like, why even bother getting an Xbox unless you're benefiting like. How did I get my Series X? I got it from a friend who didn't need it anymore, and he was selling it at a discount, so I bought it off him cheaper than what it would have been if I tried to get it retail. And what do I do on it? At this point, I mostly just play Halo. And I like playing it when it looks so good, running at 60 FPS with ray tracing and all those little bells and whistles. Like, I definitely get something out of it. But I'm not playing anything else on Xbox. If I'm playing Banjo-Kazooie, because Xbox has Banjo-Kazooie because Microsoft owns them at this point. If I'm playing Banjo-Kazooie, I'm either playing it on my not official Switch, or I'm playing it on my actual N64. Like, I don't have a reason to boot up the Xbox just to play that. There's no extra incentive, because if there are any games that are on the Xbox at this point, I can download them on the Steam Deck and I'm good to go. I'll just play it there.
Thing too. I had a 360 as a kid, and I cherish those times because I needed that time period where like it was like in between, you know, Brawl and like Smash 4 where I was like had the Xbox, and that's when I like started to play other games outside of Nintendo, and that shit started to blow my mind too because I was like, oh fuck, there's other things out here that I'm like completely missing out on, like Grand Theft Auto, and that's how I played Left 4 Dead 2. That's one of my favorite games of all time. But even the Xbox, like brief aside, that fucking console, they're in the shitter right now. Like their whole like IP, because like they're totally outclassed by like everyone else right now. And like once I found out as a kid that you could play most of those games on PC and you're getting a way better experience. You're getting mods. You're getting like the updates for these games like first. You're getting the content before everyone else, like the DLC. Like for Left 4 Dead 2, you would get free DLC, and on Xbox you'd have to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that right there, I was like, all right, I'm like, fucking done with it. And the game looked way better. Like you would run a shitty laptop Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
looks way better than on the Xbox.
Yeah, that's a console party foul for sure. Oh, hey Defender, welcome to the podcast. Yeah, Valve with the orange box. Back then, that was a big deal. It was cool how they actually packaged all those games in one.
Oh god, that port was bad though, wasn't it? Like that was also just like an advertisement for the PC version.
It was a little rough, but at least having the option. Well,
they totally abandoned that version of Team Fortress 2. They're just like, go play it on fucking PC. It's free.
Yeah, but well, that was a big deal when they announced that. What was that about though? Oh,
that's a brief aside, but I'm just.
But that's actually a valid point because PC.
I will tie it later though.
Yeah.
I'll bring up another topic with that, but
But
yeah,
it's valid because it's the same thing for even because Halo's on PC at this point too. Like, why would you want to play any of the old games when you can go to Steam, go to the Steam Workshop, and download all these cool mods?
It's usually cheaper.
That too.
Usually, yep.
So it's like it's cheaper to afford.
$60.
Yeah.
For these brand new games, you go on Steam. Sometimes they're $15.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes these games that you'll pay for on Xbox for $50-$60.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're not. They're like half the price.
Yeah, they're cheaper, and they actually got official mod support.
Like there'll be a discount for the winter. There'll be huge discounts. I've never really pirated any like PC game. It's kind of funny because I'll do modding and stuff, but I've never pirated a PC game because they fucking make them cheap.
That's it. They make them cheap.
It's a really smart strategy
and accessible. That's the thing.
Yeah, why go through the pain of like trying to find a ROM or whatever and hoping there's no fucking viruses in it when I could just pay $10 to play it since it's now for like they're having a discount.
Yeah.
Like it was like literally just if you knew that you were just like why even play the console?
Step ahead of the curve basically. It's like the convenience is better, the features. It's just everything was just a better experience, either just for the performance or for the sake of the official mod support, or even if it didn't have official mod support.
I will say sometimes the PC port of a game would be shit. Like Grand Theft Auto 5 when that first came out on PC was a mess. I don't know why Rockstar can't like fucking just put a PC port out it's you would think it would be easy, but they've never done it smoothly.
Not for them apparently. Not easy for them.
That's like the rare instance though. That's like rare like we're like okay they clearly put more focus in the console like Xbox PlayStation,
yeah,
because that's what they know is going to sell the most, and then they that's when the PC it's like okay well we have to wait longer, but once you get the PC version they figured it out like usually a year later or some shit.
True.
And there's mods, then it's like this is the way better version.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's like if the game was designed to run on console originally, I know it's a little trickier to actually port it to PC because you got to go back into the code and reorganize everything under the hood so it's actually compatible and it can run natively. It's not as simple as just take the files and throw it on there. So I get it. It's not simple, but it's rough when it's like you're the official company, you've had time to do it. Apparently you had to meet sales, so that's why it got rushed in such a sorry state, and then everyone else isn't happy at that point. Everyone loses. No one's making money. Your fans hate it. So I guess
that would be a pretty off topic. That would be if they added a Grand Theft Auto character to Smash. That would also be like on the level of Steve and Sora. That would be. If they had that would never happen, but I just thought of it.
Actually,
would be fucking stupid.
It's actually good because it kind of gets us back on topic a little bit because after the Smash,
I'm gonna move to Ultimate.
Yeah, because after the Smash 4 hype started dying down, we were happy that we had Mega Man and Pac-Man. We actually had like these big I remember the big thing about Smash 4 I liked was the fact that you had a Capcom mascot and then you had Namco's mascot with Pac-Man. So you had, basically, between Sonic, Pac-Man, Capcom, and Mario, you had the mascot wars for all these game companies going at it. I remember making this silly little wallpaper bragging about how it's a 4-way battle to the death between these 4 mascots of gaming, and it's like, Smash Bros. Made it possible. No other game let you do that. It was a big deal. But eventually, yeah, the hype did die down because people were playing Smash 4 for a while. Casually.
Smash 4 was easy as hell. I'm sorry, everyone played that game competitively. Some people get mad when I shit on Smash 4. It just was not.
To its credit, it was a lot of fun at parties. It tried.
I gave it a chance. It's not. It's like you go on Wi-Fi and everyone's spamming counter. Everyone's doing the most dumb defensive strategies,
Yeah.
and it's just like
It took the fun out of it real fast at that point.
rage mechanic was stupid. I don't like things killing at 8%. I don't like Ray Samus up B killing me at 4%. I don't like I don't like Corrin's counter ever in that game. That Corrin, what the fuck was that character? What the fuck was Cloud? What the fuck? I made Cloud, and he wasn't even. I mean, mained is like it was the end of that fucking game's lifespan. But I was like, I picked him up and I was like, this character's fucking easy. I was like, I went online and I was like, this is fucking. Up air aerials are massive.
You're like,
he was like super like.
You're like the game's playing itself.
That's when I was like, if I was playing this game seriously, I would have picked up Cloud. I always made Ness, but yeah, that was I made Ness in like almost every game, but that was a fucking shit game.
Yeah, actually,
and even looking back, I don't even like it that as much. I know people were like, "How could you?" I loved it. It was great, but like, it doesn't really look that good. Like going back, when I have the Wii U emulator pulled up and I try to push it to the max, it still doesn't fucking look good.
It's weird. It's almost like it's
all with mods looks better than just native Wii U.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because when I see Wii U gameplay at this point, it looks like it's trying to be Ultimate while running on Brawl. That's the best way to describe it.
It really is the in-between between the Switch and the Wii. It's like almost like kind of there, good, like decent, but it just looks off.
Yeah.
I don't like saturated to the max, which I thought at the time the renders look good.
Oh,
the renders are fun. I like the renders.
Yeah.
Some I could nitpick, but like when you look in game, some of their models are whack as hell.
Yeah, whereas the box art by comparison, this actually looks really hype, and it's like must get this game. Like,
don't get me wrong, I was fucking really excited for Smash 4,
yeah,
but
I mean,
I had the honeymoon period, or not honeymoon, but like the post nut clarity. I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, once you play it and try to play it competitively, you realize how much of a fucking mess it was.
It was fine casually. It was fine for the party experience, which I definitely got my money's worth out of it for that. Like, one of the big features they touted on the back of this thing, there we go. We got like the little, it's right there on the box. 8 players at once. Like, we did this at parties. It got crazy. So because of that, we definitely got our money's worth there. The late nights. I remember coming home from one of my friend's apartments at like 2 a.m. because we'd spent like the last 3 hours playing just 8-player Smash. And
I'll say this: Smash 4's character choices
were top notch.
Excellent character choices. I like that was more fun for me. The Hype Train era was more fun than the fucking game. You know what's really fucked up is like there was a period like near the end of Smash 4, Bayonetta and Cloud, whatever came out, and I was like, you know what, this game would be a lot better if I could play these same characters with wave dashing and dash dancing.
Yeah, with some better mechanics.
And like HDR is. Essentially, I was like, even back then, I was like, this game would be better with melee and like maybe that. Okay, like I'm a terrible person. I like melee mechanics. Okay, I like wave dashing and dash dancing. How dare I, right? But like for real, like if you give it a chance, I'm not saying like all of them need to come back. I'm not saying you need fucking L canceling. Like that's like maybe too complicated, whatever. But wave dashing and like the more freedom, like I don't know. Not trying to go on a fucking sidetrack, but that stuff was like hidden in Melee and nobody knew about it. I didn't even know about it. You think kids would know about wave dashing, dash dancing?
Not unless they did it by accident.
Yeah, most people don't even know. Like you could put that stuff. Okay, here's how you do wave dashing and dash dancing. If you're making another Smash game, just don't tell anybody it's in the game, and just sell it like normal, and then have people figure it out, and then the hardcore nerds will know about it. But then the people who just want to play it casually, they're not going to do it. And that's fine. But maybe to them that's blasphemy. They don't even want the hardcore people doing it because they know if they show off the game. This is my theory is if the game gets shown off and they do like some exposition or whatever exhibition,
like a showcase, an exhibition.
Yes, and somebody wave dashes and whatever, they're gonna have a heart attack because they're gonna be like, oh my god, this is unfair. Like even though it's not even a big deal, it's just like it's just like cool.
Well,
It's just like there's nothing wrong with it.
the point you made a moment ago about how if you're a casual player, it doesn't matter, and it absolutely did
You don't
not.
even care. You're
Because
playing with items on anyways.
I played
Turn it
Melee
off.
for years, not doing any of
Turn
that
it
stuff.
off.
Yeah, that too.
But wouldn't that be fucking genius? Just turn it off. You know how there's like sliders for everything now? Oh my god, that'd be fucking genius.
Funny you should
Just
say
turn
that.
it off.
I'm gonna do a shout out to
Turn off.
Smash
Turn off
Remix.
that.
For any of you devs out there watching this, thank you for making those features a thing in 64. Because yeah, they did make toggles for being able to like charge smash attacks, air dodging, wave dashing. You can do that. Yeah, Smash 64 is like, okay, if you want to play it more like the modern games, we'll give you a few quality of life
That'd be
fixes.
fucking genius. This is the first time I've had that idea. I've always thought they should just sneak it in there and not even don't do an announcement. Don't make a big showcase. Just keep it low key like it was in Melee.
Yeah.
Like people ask Sakurai, by the way. People who say I hate when people say it's a glitch because I think Awesome Sauce made a great video about how it's not a glitch. But Sakurai, I even knew before that video that Sakurai like mentioned it and was like, oh, like Luigi's like has a lot of aerial momentum, so when he does that, he slides. Like Sakurai mentioned it in an interview. He put that in there on purpose. Like you don't accidentally create that. Okay, there's some things that are bugs in Melee, like fucking Ice Climbers, wobbles that fucking game. That's a bug. But like doing like a momentum like thing like that, that's usually like something they know is in the game. Like,
someone knew. Someone would have said something if they didn't want it there at the time.
And and obviously the fact that he mentioned it in an interview and someone brought it up, tells me that. And also, L canceling was in 64.
Yep, it was. Even back then, you could cancel your aerial frames.
Yeah, I think Dash Dance might have been an exploit, like quote unquote. Like, okay, maybe they didn't know that like doing that would like make like. Now they obviously you can't when you try to do that same thing in Ultimate or Smash 4, it doesn't like the character's just like what the, like it just doesn't.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't work. And I miss that. I like being able to make the character.
It's not dash dancing though.
Yeah, it's funny because that was a big thing I noticed when I played Smash 4. Because Ultimate has like a pseudo version of it, whereas Smash 4 doesn't have it at all.
Never.
It feels wrong to move in Smash 4 on the ground because of it. It's like I can't do that quick responsive motion. Even Ultimate lets me
It's character dependent too. Like if you don't have fast dash speed, you actually don't even get to use it. I don't like it's like Fox can do it and stuff or whatever. It is like very character specific. If you're like slow, you don't really have it. But yeah, it's just like that's how you solve that in my opinion. Is you just don't make an announcement, have a toggle in the game, sure.
Yeah.
Just sneak it in there.
I think that'd be a fun way to do it. And then the tournament meta can decide how they want to move forward. Or some tournament metas might even do a thing of like, this is the default features, and this is like a hardcore mode or something with the more advanced tech or something like that. I don't know. I mean...
I don't know if those things would save too. Like, I'm just thinking about it. Like, I don't know. It just depends. Like, there's other things that I have problems with in Ultimate, like... the way you kind of move, like they changed some, like the way you don't maintain momentum on platforms. I'm pretty sure. Like,
you don't
like that.
You don't have that anymore.
It feels stiffer than it should.
Yeah,
and
like
that's partly why.
Like your characters have glue on their feet.
Yeah, it's like very close to being actually good. Like it's kind of funny how HDR kind of did it. Like the actual game is extremely fast. But there's like things in the engine that are like making it slow, and those are the things I don't like.
Yeah.
And that's probably why fucking characters with aerials are insane. It's because they have like some of the best speed and like fucking aerials are. If there's a Smash Ultimate 2, they need to nerf aerials. They're fucking way too good in that
or
game. Holy fuck.
Characters like Samus, if you have a flow to your characters like Samus break your flow because they can stall while they're off stage or do these other mix-ups so you can't just run out and try to get like a free dare or fair or something like that.
Like sorties need to get fucking nerfed. They're too good in that game. That's my hot take. I know they run that meta. It's like a sortie game. It's that and DLC characters now, but it was like before the DLC characters especially. It was like Chrom. Well, that Chrom sucks, but Roy definitely, Lucina, Cloud, Orin. No, what all like fucking swordy
Yeah.
galore.
And of course, now one of the best characters in the meta is also not only a swordy,
Steve.
but a DLC. Because I
Like a
think
swordy too. Think about it.
because Pyramithra is also really high up on that list at this point too.
But Steve has a sword.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Meanwhile, here's poor Ganon down here. I'm at the bottom of the tier list. I have a sword, and I still suck.
Everyone has a sword, including Steve.
I'm surprised Mario doesn't have a sword.
The ultimate sword character, because he fucking controls the. Okay, I'm going way too far. Sorry, I should have reversed back to ultimate, like coming like the hype train era for ultimate.
Yeah.
Which probably.
Yeah, let's.
I bet I went to a competitive.
No, it's
okay.
fine because it's still part of the.
I went through a rant of how I feel about wave dashing and dash dancing. L
still...
canceling, if it never came back, I'd be like, it's fine. But
yeah,
dash dancing, wave dashing are like actually cool as fuck.
They're neat
and
features.
The other games are creating it. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's a testament to how it could come back. It really could. There's nothing stopping him, especially if Rivals 2 pops off to be like such a hit. Smash will kind of have to compete with that a little bit.
There's gonna be more Smash clones. There's the guy who works on Slippy. He's making a Melee, like without Melee characters, which is I don't know how that's gonna happen. I really don't. That's all I know.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Because they don't want to get sued anymore by Nintendo.
Well, yeah,
because
you know Nintendo's one of the strictest companies out there, which. The topic we're going to be bringing up soon is, you know, it's kind of the taboo too, basically, because regarding that dry period between Smash 4 to Ultimate, that was the point again where I was remembering seeing like the articles that Sakurai put out there, like how you'll never get Ridley in Smash. He's way too big.
That was Cap.
Or Sora.
He's the Cap. He caps a lot.
He does, and I wonder if he does it on purpose to try to like curb expectations.
You know how many times he said he was going to retire?
And then he didn't.
And then he came back.
Keeps coming back. He'll be back. He'll be back for the next Smash.
Said it's Melee. Done after like Brawl, it was done after Smash 4. He always fucking comes back. He can't help himself. He loves Smash. It's his baby. Like that's his kid.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. It's his big playground that he brought all the cool kids to hang out in, basically.
And there was a period where I was anti Sakurai because I didn't like how I really hated the whiplash of how, if you look back on how competitive Melee ended up being, definitely a complete accident, but like the way...
But the 180, the hard 180.
They said, yeah, you guys like that stuff? Here's tripping. You guys like that stuff? This game is extremely floaty and slow.
It's like Sakurai took the camera, looked dead in the eye and said, "This is a party game."
Yeah, don't do that stuff. We don't like that. Even though he put in some of that stuff in the game.
Yeah.
I think it was like he said it was because it was on a Wiimote. Like he wanted I don't know. He said he wanted to simplify the game for people playing on like sideways Wiimote, whatever.
Yeah,
the fuck
I get it. Trying to make it more accessible, especially with how well the Wii was selling. It's like there was more people playing the Wii, definitely compared to the GameCube or even the N64. Wii was the most successful console at that point, so I get wanting to make it in a way where it's like you're not going to scare the average player off because they just can't figure out what they're doing. Like I totally get the mentality. But for people like us who grew up with the games and enjoyed those features, not having them anymore was a huge step in the wrong direction. It's a betrayal to your longtime fans versus trying to bring your new ones in, basically.
Granted, I didn't know about that stuff back then, but like definitely looking back when you see it, it's like, oh.
And
like I didn't really get why tripping was there as a kid. I was like, what the fuck?
Even back then I thought that was the stupidest thing. And even back then, even if I didn't understand the more
that was a mistake.
Complex nuances of Melee and its deeper mechanics, I could still tell without a shadow of a doubt between Brawl and Melee. Brawl just felt slower and not as fun to play by comparison.
Like you're in outer space.
Yeah,
basically.
Everything floats. You do the air.
Actually, created its own like Brawl. In my opinion, became Brawl is like Smash 4. Like Smash 4 and Brawl are like super similar to each other, even though some people might be like, what do you mean? They're like floaty. They're both, you know, like a lot of Brawl people play Smash 4. A lot of Smash 4 people play Ultimate. Like in a way, like I think those three games are like more similar than like Melee. Melee and 64 are really like their own game. Like, they're close together. While like Brawl and like Smash 4 and Ultimate, it's more floaty. There's more defensive mechanics and stuff, and it's not an aggressive like offensive game. At
Yeah.
least maybe towards Ultimate, but
I agree. And it's just, and if you got used to it and enjoyed it for what it was back in the Melee era, it felt like a slap to the face by comparison. And
yeah, if you knew about that stuff, yeah, it was.
or even if on like the simplest level of like, man, I just miss how fast this game felt by comparison. The characters felt so much more snappy and responsive, and now they feel like they're moving through molasses by comparison. It's like even if you don't know the nuance, you still felt like something was off. So it just turned out it was deeper rooted than we realized. But yeah, so during that dry period between Smash 4 to Ultimate, and hearing all the stuff that would never happen, that's when I started.
That felt quick to me.
Oh yeah,
it
was way quicker by comparison. But
it was partly because they wanted to move on so bad from the Wii U. That's part of it. It was they were hard course correcting Nintendo because the Wii U bombed.
Yeah.
And they were trying to like get their footing back, so they immediately started the next Smash. Like I'm pretty sure it was like right when the Wii U and 3DS one ended. They didn't have much of a break. It was like, okay, next one. And I remember there was rumors that the next one was being worked on, and it was like under the code name like Smash 5 or I don't know, whatever, 6.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it. So I was like, this is too soon. They're gonna wait.
Yeah, like,
I was
why
they
now?
always wait fucking forever. Yeah. Now we're kind of waiting forever now, but like back then I didn't believe it until I saw the trailer just randomly on Reddit for the Inkling.
Yeah.
The Inkling Smash Ultimate trailer, and that's when I believed it. I didn't believe the rumors.
I remember hearing them too. Until I saw that trailer though, that's when I knew, yep, this is actually happening. And it felt even sooner because even though the gap between Smash 4 to Ultimate was technically 4 years. But Smash 4 was also getting DLC for like a good year and a half after, so it didn't feel as long because they were still giving that game a decent amount of attention. But also because we're older, the burnout kind of hit sooner and the attention spans were off on other stuff. So of course during that time, that's when I started checking out mods again because there were characters that, between what Sakurai was saying and just the unrealistic expectations, I was thinking, nah, those characters could never be in Smash, but maybe modders have done some stuff. And during that time period, that's when I came across Legacy XP. And that's how I found out about not just Ridley, but people actually putting like Waluigi in, and Geno, and Shadow, and all these characters that you just could not play in official Smash. And even though, you couldn't play a lot of the official roster in Legacy, there were still brand new characters that you normally wouldn't get the chance to enjoy. Plus, it was stacked on top of the PM engine, so you had all these fun new characters and the more fun to play engine for someone like me. So, here's this mod. I can play Ridley. Ridley's real. And then, of course, Smash Ultimate comes out and they're like, oh, we put Ridley in Smash. We also gave you a K rule. And all these other characters that I never thought was actually going to get added officially, but it happened. Shoot. Actually, I think the most jarring thing was when Sephiroth got added, because there was a PM Sephiroth that existed for a while, and I always thought, yeah, this is a character that Smash Bros. Will never touch. And then we got Sephiroth, and I'm just like, well, shoot, I'm getting caught off guard day by day now, apparently.
Well, for Ultimate, the hype train for that was pretty. I would say it was like right behind Smash 4. It was definitely Smash Ultimate had some pretty fucking crazy like kind of leaks, but they were not real.
Yeah.
There were some real ones, like the Ken one was real. There was mostly like text leaks that people didn't believe that ended up being real, like Piranha Plant and stuff. Like that was really fun.
Yeah.
I did believe some of. I think I believed like one of those fake leaks. Like I think it was the Snapchat one or something. For like a second, I might have believed it, but then ironically, some of those characters still ended up in the game, like Banjo.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty crazy. I think I wanted that too.
Yeah, that was a reveal I was not expecting. I always felt that Banjo would like run his course, that there was just no chance it could ever happen, and then lo and behold, there he was. And I remember just being like so hyped about that. And then even Sakurai promoting Banjo-Kazooie and the Xbox and stuff. I'm like, ooh, Microsoft's actually getting in on the action at this point. Because at that point, Banjo was the first proper Microsoft rep. So it's like, oh shoot, it's not just Japanese studios. Now anything's possible. Like we're going further and further. And then not long after that, we got Steve. And I was thinking, well, shoot, they put these 3 in. Master Chief's got to be next, right? And then of course we didn't get Master Chief, so I was very heartbroken over that. But
yeah, there's some fake leaks on him too.
yeah, and
Maybe someday it'll happen.
I remember also Aaron Nitmar did a video where he revealed that he actually worked on a fake Master Chief Mii costume, and a lot of people thought it was real until he made the video to confirm that nope, this was fake. I was involved in its creation, but. Yeah, people saw that costume and were like, oh, at least we get this at the very least. And nope, we didn't even get a Mii costume at the very least. I was so bummed. But maybe someday. But between Ultimate, Smash 4, there was finally once again that period of just wanting to like check out mods again. Just to kind of keep pushing that envelope of like what characters could ever be added in Smash. Because that was the incentive way back when that Ridley PM mod got made. And if I remember correctly, that was like one of your first videos too, was playing like the original Ridley mod, and being excited because this is real. Like someone actually made a Ridley in a time that people said, "Nope, he'll never get added."
I just uploaded that as like for fun. It was just gameplay of me playing Ridley, which actually is kind of ironic because Ridley is one of my. I would say he's one of my mains in Ultimate. Nest and Ridley, which is funny. But I don't even like Ridley that much. I don't even like...
As a character, it's like, eh.
Just like kind of, I randomly played him online and I was like fucking people up with him. I don't know. I figured it out. Yeah, he's one of my... Like, I would say for me, I play more PM. That's my actual game that I give a fuck about the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like Melee and then Ultimate. But pretty big gap between Ultimate and like PM. I probably know the most about PM. But when Ridley was at it, that was I kind of knew one day it would happen. I never believed the he's too big shit because it's like really I actually think Waluigi still has a chance even though he's basically deconfirmed him at points.
Yeah, and is now like the official Nintendo meme pick. It feels like. Like, if Waluigi gets added, the joke is made about how Waluigi finally made it to Smash after all these years.
I still think Toad should be added before Waluigi. I'd rather have Geno too, but that's just me.
And this kind of goes back to the point of, like, this is why I appreciate the fandom as much as I do, because so many of them have these dreams, and they decide...
Legacy Geno,
and they just do it themselves. They're like, alright, if Sakurai and Smash aren't going to give us these characters... We'll figure out how to make them real and make them good enough that people will actually enjoy playing these characters, which I guess coincidentally that does kind of tie into the other special thing that we're going to be doing for this podcast, because let's see if I can pull it up. So, throughout the years, I'm going to see if this works. Should work. Here we go. So, throughout the years, of course, we've had so many fan-made characters. A lot of them are predates even. Like some of these fan-made characters were made years in advance and then somehow actually officially got, added to the rosters. Some of the ones that got brought up earlier, Ridley's the big one. There we go. Ridley's the big one, but we have other examples too. Like Sephiroth joining the roster and Cloud had a PM version before we got the real one. There's just been so many characters throughout the years that fans pretty much were just like, you know what? We're gonna do this thing ourselves. We're gonna make these characters real, and it's thanks to like even Smash Flash 2 gave us Sora before we officially got Sora. So yeah, between things like Crusade, Flash 2, Legacy XP, Project Plus, my team with PMEX Remix, Smash Remix, and even some of the Ultimate modding groups like Ultimate S making characters. It's like we're still creating these fun ideas of like, what would it be like if these characters were actually in Smash? Someone who cares about these franchises, they can't enjoy it officially, but thanks to the fans, we can do it this way at the very least and get the next best thing, which is really polished characters that feel like they could actually belong and live that dream of like, oh, maybe Sans will be in Smash one day, but here's a moveset and this feels really fun. So you don't get them officially, but thanks to the community, all these people that do the stuff that Nintendo don't and Nintendo don't like still somehow make the dream real. It'd be cool to see them real, but it's still nice that we can at least play these characters thanks to the community doing their part and making them as real as possible, despite the fact that they're all fan-made. So yeah, so what we're doing with this, and this is gonna actually be a lot of fun, is so during this part, we're gonna be. I'm gonna switch this over on this window here so it actually shows up proper. There we go. Okay, so for this part of the stream, we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. So this tier list, I'm gonna make it very clear to everyone that's watching right now. This tier list is specifically focused on basically our favorite characters. This isn't a viability list. This isn't me.
Is it a Smash Ultimate 2 wish list?
Yeah, this isn't
That's
that
what
either.
I thought it was when you first sent it to me. I was like, is this Smash Ultimate 2?
I mean,
no, that's fine.
To be fair, when you see this many characters, it does feel like it, but looking at this, just to confirm, this is like all the really good characters that have been made at this point between all the games that I was talking about earlier. The fan-made ones like Flash 2 and Crusade, to the mods like Remix, whether it be 64 or PM, or the Ultimate mods. Like, these are all fleshed out characters that you can boot up any of these modded versions or fan games and play right now. So this list kind of goes back to like that original thrill of like seeing a character you really wanted make it into Smash so you can actually play them in Smash Bros. So the point of this tier list is no viability. This is a personal preference based on, I'm a fan of so-and-so character, so-and-so franchise. This is where I rate them as far as like how cool it is that I can play these characters thanks to all the fan games and mods out there. And as far as like the order will go, I think we'll start us on the hop back up here. We'll start us on the left side here and move our way across. So we'll start like top left, go down, and then just go down each one, and then it's through the middle. It's these two each, and then back up here all the way down, and yeah, and it won't take too long either for that reason, because it's not like we're going to be going over like how good this character does against this other moveset. This is purely I'm a fan of like Blaziken, for example, and Blaziken gets my pick for like an S tier or something like that. So yeah, so to start us,
we go in character like I talk Bomberman and then you talk Bomberman, or
exactly, yeah. So that's how we're starting it. So the first character, thanks to fan games and mods, Bomberman. He is a character that's playable in Remix, PMEX Remix. He's also playable in, I think he's also playable both in Crusade and Flash 2. Definitely Flash 2. So as far as like Bomberman, the character, the franchise, how hype being able to play him in Smash Bros. Would you put him tier wise for you?
I've never played the game, so I'm not really like the hugest Bomberman fan, but I know like it would be cool if he was in Smash, but I don't know. I don't know this character. He's like a projectile zoner.
There's no real attachment to like
Bomberman.
Bomberman. To the IP.
I'm not gonna lie, his moves have massive hitboxes. Probably C.
All right, so for you, he's a C tier pick to actually be a.
I have no personal connection to Bomberman, so I know some people might think that's blasphemy. But
but this is your list. This is you being like, okay, this character is playable. This is how I feel about the character. This is my attachment, and so on.
yeah, C.
Okay, C for you. For me, I'm going to put Bomberman in A, because I did grow up playing a lot of the Bomberman games. The very first one was one of the ports of the original that was on the PlayStation, so I played that game a lot. That was one of those party games. I always felt that Bomberman should have been one of those picks that actually made it into the roster, and was bummed that it never happened, but thank you, fan games, for making him real. So I'm happy to be able to play him. He was a character I enjoyed growing up.
Like, if he was added to Smash, I wouldn't be against it, but I just personally don't have a hugest connection with him.
Yeah, no real attachment. Which
One of the first Brawl fake leaks was him, though.
Yeah, he was. That's why a lot of people were
just,
thinking, like, is this
his render with over Mario? It was like the cheapest looking fake leak ever.
Yeah.
Chibi is S.
Oh, so you actually were a fan of the Chibi Robo games.
I think Chibi. I think the moveset is really well done in Flash, right? Flash 2.
Yeah.
I think it's a good moveset, and I'm not like the huge, like maybe it's more closer to A or whatever, but like I'm gonna throw him a bone. I wish his series is dead. That's why I'm saying that. His
Yeah.
series is dead. He needs another, like, he's probably never coming back unless he's in Smash, in my opinion, because they pretty much tried to like reboot his series by making like a really experimental platformer, and it bombed.
Yeah.
And I do have nostalgia for playing his game on the GameCube. He just seems like a quirky character that would fit in Smash pretty well. And I know this is partly off the fucking topic. I don't give a fuck, but whatever. But his Flash 2 moveset is really like cool. Like really, it fits the idea pretty perfectly, and it's how I would imagine him to be in Smash.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna put Chibi in C because I don't really have any attachment. I played a little bit of the original Chibi Robo, but I have never finished it. That's something I need to fix. The moveset is a lot of fun. I 100% agree on that too. But I never got the chance to enjoy this character at all growing up. It's more one of those hindsight examples, and the games haven't really hooked me yet. They don't feel like they would have been the thing I would have been playing a lot of as a kid growing up. But I'm also a fan of just seeing more like Nintendo characters get represented, even if he counts as more of a dead or obscure franchise at this point. So
he fits Smash. Like
Yeah.
if I would genuinely want him in another game, just like, because he would be like a niche kind of like a Duck Hunt. Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean, like one of those niche series that people kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
Slippy was Smash Flash on the, or not Flash, Smash Remix on the 64.
Yeah.
He's banned. He's pretty fun, but he's you know, I'll give him A. I think Slippy should be like an Echo Fighter or something. That'd be kind of funny in like Smash.
Yeah.
But he's pretty fun. I remember the April Fool's trailer for.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. That was pretty great.
That's partly. It would just be cool to have another Spacey just for fun. I don't know, fuck around with him. I guess it'd be fun. Like kind of meme Spacey, it'd be fun.
I would put Slippy for me in B. I am a fan of Star Fox, especially the originals like Star Fox 64. I always wanted to see more Star Fox characters actually be playable in Smash Bros. So it feels like a bummer that after all this time, all we got was Wolf after Falco and Melee, and then we lost Wolf in Smash 4, and then Ultimate was like, alright, here's Wolf back, but we never got anything else. Slippy would have been a fun, goofy character to add, even if he was kind of like a semi-clone or even an Echo. Just getting more Star Fox representation would have been awesome. I would have liked to have seen it, especially as someone who enjoyed the Star Fox games so much. And Slippy is annoying, so there'd be that added bonus of just being able to beat the crap out of Slippy. So, yeah. Yeah, so Slippy's definitely a B for me. Not my like most favorite character by any means, but would have loved to have seen more Star Fox actually happen in Smash. Oh,
is that number?
Yeah.
With the Gravity Wells.
Yeah, we got new 13 here, playable and remix, PMEX remix. And...
A really broken character during the character's peak. Probably C or D, maybe. I don't know. C. Fuck it, put her in C. Mm-hmm. Her mechanic is cool. It's just not. I'm not really a Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
Type of guy. I didn't like when she was broken. That was
Oh yeah.
Annoying.
During that period. For me, I'm gonna put her in E, because I had no attachment to Blaze Blue at all. I was always more of a Tekken guy, so even Street Fighter and King of Fighters, those were ones that I was not really interested in at that point. I knew about them, but had no drive to play them, and Blaze Blue is basically like in that same 2D fighting game camp. So, it didn't really catch my interest when I first saw her. The joke amongst me and my siblings was she looked like Dialga. We called her like the Dialga lady for a little while. Because it's like, we had no clue who she was. Like, she's got a good moveset. She's a ton of fun to play. But in terms of, like, that sense of, like, if she got announced for Smash, I'd be like, huh, okay. Especially since, as a Blaze Blue character, she's more of, like, on the antagonist side. If you're putting a character like Blaze Blue in, you'd probably, first pick would be, like, Ragna or something as, like, the face of the franchise. So, her of all things was like, huh, all right. It's kind of in that same ballpark as Min Min being the pick for arms. So I'm just kind of like, doesn't mean anything really to me. The character's neat, but I had like no idea who she was at all. And BlazBlue, I played it a few times. It's fun, but it's not really like my fighting game. So it didn't resonate the same way that like a 3D fighter like Tekken would.
Navarre's probably E. For his character. I don't really like his moveset. It feels really janky and weird. I know some people say he's secretly good. Sure. I'll let it be. Just not my character. If he was even gonna be in the next Smash game, I don't think that would happen. They always add whatever new Fire Emblem character is like that can be talked about. Like whatever is gonna be on the Smash 2 Fire Emblem, that's probably the character they'll go with. Navarre's game has been like far outdated. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. For me, also gonna be an E, and I'm gonna stick behind New, because at least New has some weight as a guest character. Navarre, I have like barely any attachment to Fire Emblem. More of my Fire Emblem interest comes to the fact that they are in Smash Bros.
Good in those games, like he's really good, but I just don't think he like is what they would add in Smash or like really fits. Like, what is he bringing to the table as a sword character?
Yeah,
right? I know that's a hot take, but like that's my 2 cents.
But yeah, just as a character that
he's good in his game though. Like I've beaten both the games he's in.
Oh.
He's very good, but like I just don't think he works in Smash in my opinion.
Yeah, just doesn't feel like a Smash pick. It'd be kind of one of those like, really, you? Out of like left field sort of thing.
I mean, he is in the Fire Emblem fucking Dynasty Warriors game, but that's about it. Like that's the only bone he's been given.
Yeah.
I have no idea who it is.
So this is Ristar.
Oh yeah, that's right. F. I fucking don't.
No attachment, no nothing. Doesn't mean anything to me.
I don't even know what game. Is that Crusade?
Yeah, this character is featured in Crusade as a moveset.
Yeah, I might have briefly played him in Crusade. Yeah, no connection.
Yeah, no nostalgia, no emotional feels. It's just there. It's just a there character. I'm in the same boat. Oops. I'm actually. I'll fix that a second. Actually, didn't mean to shrink him. I'm gonna actually put him in E behind Navarre because it feels like he's even less noticeable to me. I don't even really remember this character ever being advertised for anything. And this is a me thing. Like someone out there could actually be a huge fan of whatever it is that.
What system?
I think Ristar was on PlayStation. I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I mean. I never knew of this character.
Like a mascot for like a fucking like daytime inn. Like he looks like a hotel mascot.
Yeah, like Discount Carl's Jr. or something even.
It would be on a cereal box.
He's gonna sell you Smashios or something.
I've seen like maybe like screenshots of the game, but I don't really. It's not really something I care for.
Yeah, just doesn't resonate.
Sandbag is fucking E. It's a meme character. It's a meme. I mean, like, do I think he should be actually added to Smash? If he was, like, I could see it, like, Sakurai, like, be like, oh, this is a cool idea. Like, this would be, like, a Piranha Plant, like, level character if he added that to Smash.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably not fuck with it, though, because I'd be like, that's a waste of a slot. I get it, but, like, I don't know. It's not really my character.
Would you put him before Navarre, at least?
Sure.
Cut him a little slack that way. It's like you mean a little bit more in some way by comparison.
I mean, the moveset, it's like, from a modding perspective, like, it's cool, it's fine. It's a fine modded moveset, whatever. I get what it's trying to be, but the idea of Sandbag isn't really, playing a Sandbag is not really intriguing.
For me, I will put Sandbag in C, currently behind Chibi Robo. Mostly because I wish Sandbag was playable in the sense of like, compared to like what we got in Ultimate where we got Plant as like kind of like that joke pick or out there pick, or even way back in '64 when Jigglypuff was like the joke character at the time. I always thought if Sandbag was playable, it would be the equivalent of Smash Bros. Having like a legitimate joke type character that you weren't supposed to take seriously, but was playable basically. So, yeah, and I would have happily taken Sandbag as a playable character as DLC over Plant. It would have been funny. So, yeah, it would have been cool to have like, and also just a Smash original character on the roster, also by that extension. Which, shoot, that actually made me realize, I'm gonna do one thing here. This is a little boo-boo on my part. Just gonna quickly copy this. Sandbag is also going to be a stand-in for another character that I forgot to include in this list because it's technically 4 characters. So this Sandbag is going to be the Alloys.
Oh, I have no connection to the Alloys.
Yeah, so I think the Alloys for you would probably be F, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I just don't really like it. I'm not like if I get cooked by one, it's fine. But like, I just no. Why would I want to play them?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Nothing against the modders though. It's not me saying I don't like the modded movesets. It's not. I don't want anyone to think that's where I'm like going with this. It's just like the idea of the characters.
Yeah, like if Sakurai dropped a reveal for Ultimate or the next Smash game, and it's like Alloys have joined the brawl or something, and you'd be like,
does anyone even care? What I guarantee some people forgot they exist because aren't they even not? They're not even in the Ultimate.
Yeah, they're not. It's all Mii's now, filling out the miscellaneous beat 'em up characters.
They're lost media.
Yeah. My only reason I'm not keeping them lower is it's just nice to see more Smash original characters because even the Mii's are technically, even though they got like the Smash franchise icon, they are still technically part of like the Nintendo experience. They're not really like Smash original. So, be cool to see more just characters that started in Smash, now they're playable. I don't know, just that novelty. It would be kind of neat. Oh, but here's...
Sans is an A tier.
Yeah, I figured good old Bones would be an A tier pick. I'm gonna...
The moveset is like damn near like close to what I think it could possibly go, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they make him fucking similar to Knee Gunner or something. I don't know. It's possible. I don't know where they could go with him if they put him in Smash, but I actually legitimately think he will be in the next Smash game. I think that's... If I would bet on any character, it's him because he was a Mii costume. Sakurai, he's friends with Toby Fox. That would be a really easy addition. Like the amount of hype for a Mii costume I've never seen, and so that's just like obvious that he would probably be a character in the next game. I don't like playing him though. I don't know. It's not for me, but A tier fine.
Yeah. Me, I'm gonna put him in B. As someone who is still trying to finish Undertale after all these years, he's a fun character. I can see why he's.
I beat Undertale before it became a fucking
like me.
I beat it with I played it right when it came out, basically. I feel like if I invested in the stock, I would be rich. But...
I watched my sister play. She was a big fan of it. And then, of course, it did blow up all over the internet at that point, too. A very important character. Basically, the mascot of Toby Fox at this point, I feel like. So, definitely important. Me personally, I don't have as strong of feelings about Undertale. And I might if I actually finish it, because I know it gets really intense the further in you get. And I got stuck on one of the boss fights. So that's why I haven't finished yet.
It's pretty difficult if you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know a couple little things, but very surface level, so I'm trying to keep like the real meat hidden, so I can just finally enjoy it proper after all these years. But Sans upgrading from a Mii costume to being a full-on fighter would be a big deal, and people, whenever they play Remix, always go, hey, they got the funny skeleton man in there, It's a hype thing. Even if it is partially fueled by the meme culture, it's still a very important character to have, so... I'm glad that we can actually play Sans this way for now until it happens for real.
Scizor, A tier.
Oh yeah, this character.
A really good luck. I don't think he actually has a chance of being Smash just because it's the same thing with Fire Emblem. What they always add whoever's the new character, you know, like fucking. I guess we got the names leaked now, but Pokemon Gaia. I don't fucking know. Whatever the next Pokemon game is, they'll pick. You know, whether it's a starter or some random Pokemon that's like a in a movie.
Yeah.
They'll probably add that one before like any of the older ones.
Very likely.
Scizor and what is it, Crusade?
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah, new character that got added in Crusade recently. I agree, a very amazing moveset, and as someone who's a Gen 2 fan, Scizor was always one of my favorite Pokemon from that generation, so it would have been so cool to actually be able to play this Mon in Smash Bros, so thankfully Crusade scratched that itch. Actually, would you put Scizor ahead? Where would Scizor be in the A? Probably ahead of Slippy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's a little bit, because I know you're also a big Pokemon fan too. There's way more like a personal investment
One
happening.
of my favorite games. Pokemon Emerald is my favorite.
Gen 3 was where the magic was at. Still one of my favorite generations of Pokemon.
It's funny because everyone said it was bad back then. It's funny how it's ironic how things change, but whatever. That's another story.
I'm gonna put Scizor currently high A behind Bomberman, because even though I enjoyed the Bomberman games, and Bomberman would be a pretty hype addition if ever made it into Smash, my Pokemon investment, especially back then as a kid, it's stronger than Bomberman. My love of Pokemon, especially of Scizor by comparison, is much stronger than my love of Bomberman. Still like them both, but Scizor, if Scizor got officially added, Crusade proved just how fun it could be. So, maybe one day. Probably not though, but at least we got the fan games and the mods.
I've never played the Vaporeon. I don't know where that's from.
Oh yeah, so like Vaporeon. So Vaporeon is a B tier. Vaporeon is one of the the curveball picks that I picked because so Vaporeon's history was from Smashland, the Smash fan game that tried to be like what Smash could be like if it was on the original Game Boy. And that was made by Dan Fornes, which everyone now knows at this point because of Rivals of Aether. So, and Vaporeon's moveset is basically, Orcane's moveset?
Rivals character? That's funny.
Yeah, so Vaporeon is the precursor to the Rivals.
Smashland.
Yeah. I only played it recently. I knew about Smashland, but never actually got the chance to play it until like a couple of months ago when I finally downloaded it just to see what it was like. It's cool.
When was it made?
Ooh, this had to have been like I thought it was like a good 2-3 years before Rivals first came out. It was a few years before. It was the very first thing that Dan Fornes did proper to show that he wanted to like dip his toes into that Smash Bros. Platform fighter type franchise.
I didn't play that. I think I've seen footage of Vaporeon though. The reason why I put Vaporeon in the B tier is just because it's a good Pokemon. I use it a lot whenever. That's one of my EV evolutions I'll always use. But
I'm kind of in that same boat. That's why I'm putting Vaporeon in B for me, because back in Gen 1, Vaporeon was my favorite of the evolutions. Only replaced in Gen 2 by Espeon. I always thought Espeon was so cool as a psychic type.
One of my favorites as well.
So that's my pick for Vaporeon. Cool that we got it in Smashland, and technically the moveset lives on thanks to Orcane and Rivals, so the history is not lost.
Chun-Li D tier, I don't really have a huge connection. I think she could work in Smash, but I never played a mod of her. D tier is fine. I just don't have a strong connection with the character like outside of Smash, but
yeah,
I don't think she couldn't be. It's not like that. It's just I just don't have a strong connection.
Yeah, and I get that. I'm gonna put her for me in C behind Sandbag at the moment. Like I said earlier, I never grew up with the Street Fighter games proper, but whenever I did play like the Marvel vs. Capcom games, like the arcade cabinets at my arcade growing up, I usually did wind up picking her with Mega Man. And actually, I'd either bounce between Mega Man, her, and Spider-Man at that point. And sometimes Venom every now and again. But I liked her design. I didn't know what Street Fighter was, but I thought she looked cool, so I played her. And yeah, she'd be a big deal. She would have been a bigger deal if she made it into Ultimate over Ken, if she was the one that got picked as the next Street Fighter rep. She'd make waves right now.
Conquer would be S tier.
Ooh. Probably ahead of Chibi Robo, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
64 remix. Yeah, he's just a really good moveset. He's really solid, well-made moveset. I think I think he should be added to other Monte games. I think it's just a really strong kind of like identity. I think for like what Conquer could be. In Smash, I actually want him to part of it, but
yeah, like if Sakurai was like, all right, we're adding another rare rep to the roster, and then it turned out to be Conquer, you'd go ballistic, like, yes, that's who it needs to be.
it'd be pretty out there because how mature his game is. Like if they did that, I don't like. Would they actually want to? I don't know. It's a very mature game.
So, funny enough, because of that, I'm actually putting Conquer in C behind Chun-Li for me. Because of how mature Conquer was when I was growing up. The only thing I knew Conquer from was Diddy Kong Racing. So, it's just kind of a goofy squirrel character in that game. I knew about Conquer's Bad Fur Day because my friends talked about it, but I could never play it at that point. It was too mature, too raunchy as a kid growing up. So
it's really rare too.
Yeah,
hard to get. I don't know how my brother got it, but he got it on eBay or something. Paid a high price for it, but it's a very good game. I recommend it. It's like a classic N64 game.
I think I could probably track it down at this point. Maybe I'll finally change that.
Find a legally find a burned ROM of it.
Yeah, that'll solve everything.
It's worth playing just to like. It's a game Nintendo will probably never ever create ever again. Obviously for many reasons, but it's very. It's kind of crazy the development of that game compared to the beta because it's like almost a completely fucking different game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, it went through a complete redesign. It was originally going to be like a goofy
kitty shit. We're going left.
They're like, all right, focus groups aren't really enjoying this. Fine, we'll spin it the other direction. How do you like us now?
It's a good game. It's probably one of the best games on the N64. I think it came out very late too on that console.
Yeah. Let's see. So next up, Crash Bandicoot, playable in Crusade.
I haven't played it. I'm not really a Crash guy. That's for me. It's like probably E. I don't really care. I didn't grow up with Crash.
Okay. So yeah, that'd be probably behind Navarre then, because at least you got some Fire Emblem history with him.
It could be cool. I'd be like, oh, cool, but